It's you. You did this! You little shit! You did it all! You...
A demonic preteen wreaks havoc in the name of his father below in Lucius. That's coming up next on JO42 Reviews.
Lucius, there you are, and here I am, finally, face to face. It's okay, you can trust me. You know who I am, don't you?
Could it be Satan?
Lucius is an open-world stealth game from horror specialty boutique Shiver Games. The player controls the titular Lucius, a young Martin Shkreli who does the work of the devil, killing off the unsaved and delivering their souls to eternal damnation. It's a great premise, albeit one that owes an indelible debt to the Omen, but what should be an opportunity for an evening of bad boy gross-out fun becomes frequently stilted and mechanical. Lucius is essentially a supernatural take on the Hitman concept. You're given a stealth mission to dispatch a specific target and use a combination of supernatural weapons and household items to make it happen. It's a nice idea, but it seems to fall short of capturing the tense stealthiness found in the Hitman series. Tension in stealth games like Hitman or Metal Gear Solid come from being able to crouch behind a slim covering while a guard narrowly misses you or finding a way to fade into the shadows of a crowded room. Lucius doesn't have these mechanics. The stealth is reduced to specific and blocky responses to specific actions. For example, one mission had me sneaking out of bed at night to get a bottle of rat poison. In the course of this, Lucius has to hide from his mother, who is still wandering the halls. This simply means heading to the upstairs living room and hiding in the closet until she passes by. And it can only be the closet. There's no ducking behind the couch or getting under a table, the kinds of near-miss mechanics that would have given the game the tension it needs to be truly effective. Lucius is a gorgeous game to look at, and there's a great deal of detail and craftsmanship that went into the setting. One can definitely appreciate the game's look in and of itself and enjoy exploring the intricate mansion. But even that breeds a specific problem. Lucius is an open world game, meaning that each mission has you covering the same territory over and over again. And while exploring the mansion is fun the first couple of times, the formulaic nature of the missions makes traipsing through it each time an absolute drudgery. You start a mission, check Lucius's notebook for glaringly obvious hints about how to kill the mission's target, then go digging through the mansion for the item you need to make it happen. Then it's off to slip the rat poison into a lunch basket or unscrew the bolts on a piano, and the mission is over. Once the necessary item or magical ability is used, a cutscene ensues, usually a grisly death scene followed by the parents and police standing around dumbfounded at how all the servants could just keep winding up dead. Of course, nobody ever suspects the creepy little kids standing nearby whenever a body is found. The ultimate problem with Lucius is that it seldom succeeds at becoming anything more than the sum total of its parts. Yes, you play as a pompous little antichrist on a mission from the devil, but now what? There's immense potential in the story, but ultimately nothing is done with it. The game plays out as a by-the-numbers, open-world, mission-oriented sort of game with no character development whatsoever. You start out bad, you succeed at being bad, then you get away with being bad, and then the game is over. That's it. To put the missed opportunity in perspective, consider The Sopranos, a show whose success was based on delving deep into the inner workings of the life and personal demons of a mob boss, creating one of the most compelling and engrossing characters in television history. Lucius could have been something similar, becoming the kind of diabolically fascinating character seen in C.S. Lewis's Screwtape or Todd McFarlane's Spawn. Characters that are fascinating precisely because they force us to look deeper into the dark recesses of character development. Lucius, on the other hand, just feels like cheap exploitation. There's always been a theme of demonic children that surfaces in horror fiction. From Village of the Damned to The Omen, we find ourselves terrified of the diabolical child with a solemn demeanor. Perhaps the best example of this is the classic Twilight Zone episode It's a Good Life, in which a young boy can have whatever he wants at the cost of a wish. As a result, parents tiptoe around him and the adults of the community are slavishly obliged to do his every whim, lest he chillingly wish them away into the cornfield. It is a truly terrifying premise, and part of the reason for that is that it strips down the concept of an autocratic dictator to its most basic essence, a child throwing a temper tantrum. Lucius has no larger concept like this. Horror stories need to have a message and a deeper meaning, because then the supernatural events of the story become a symbolic representation of that meaning. It's the difference between the pedestrian jump scares of Paranormal Activity and the deeply unnerving works of Stephen King and Richard Matheson. The child as villain horror trope opens itself up to limitless possibilities for metaphorical meaning. Children of the Corn could be taken as a send-up of how the flower power generation usurped the status quo from their elders and how hippies were adamant about never trusting anyone over 30. The 1992 thriller Mikey exploits the atmosphere of parental cynicism at a time when the country was held in the panicked grip of Tipper Gore and her army of hand-wringing shrews. But those are just two examples. And that's why Lucius, for all of its lush, gorgeous design, ultimately falls short. It takes a cool premise that could go in 1,000 different directions and goes absolutely nowhere. Thumbs down. Hey everybody, thank you for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Listen, my channel's going through some really cool evolutions right now, and I want to make you a part of it. Subscribe for future updates, but please also donate to support my channel on patreon.com/JO42. I've set the modest goal of $100 per video, and your contribution will help me continue to bring you really cool content like what you just saw. And of course, there are some links to the side there to help expedite that process. So again, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you again. Peace.